rains have failed, communities keep livestock for the entirety, and since the rains failed, communities are in dire need for food. Water sources have dried up, livestock have emaciated, good number have already died. There is very serious malnutrition. Lives have been lost in those counties. So literally, looking at the situation as it is, we see a very precarious situation for the pastoralists in northern Kenya and other ASAL counties. So we are converging here today. We've asked the special talent of our brother, Reuben Kigame. We know he has also lots of influence, both locally and internationally, to be an ambassador of hope. Because we are parts of this country suffering. People have lost their lives. And if one part of this country is suffering, since you are one community, the entire country is suffering. And we said it will not be good for all of us just to see and wait how things are unfolding. So we said, instead of always seeing faces from the north, from the regions which have been affected by the crisis, it will be good for us to have the face of Kenya, so that we have someone from a region which is not facing the current food crisis, to be an ambassador of hope, to make an appeal, to talk to Kenyans, so that Kenyans are able to donate for the suffering Kenyans in the arid and semi-arid lands. This initiative was sponsored by a Pastoralist Parliamentary Group, Dry Lands Learning and Capacity Building Center, Juhudi Mashinani, and we also have our members of parliament representing this forum here. As you've already heard, there are many who are also engaged in other meetings. They have sent their apologies. So basically, it's a broad-based initiative. And that's why we're here today. We are converging here today to make an appeal to the Kenyan community. Thank you. So I would like to invite Honorable Sarah Korere to read the statement, the press statement, and giving also numbers on the number of Kenyans who have been affected by the current crisis. Karibu, Mheshimiwa.
Asanteni. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to issue a press statement and to officially launch the Okoa Maisha initiative, an emergency response to the dire hunger crisis in Kenya. We are gathered here to call attention to the severe hunger situation and the serious humanitarian crisis that our dear country is grappling with. The arid and semi-arid counties of Kenya are experiencing a 5th consecutive season of severely depressed rainfall. This has led to acute water shortages, livestock death, crop failure, and serious mental health challenges. According to the Humanitarian Network and National Disaster Reports, over 4.5 million Kenyans in ASAL counties are experiencing acute food insecurity. Over 2.5 million animal deaths have been reported. An estimated 54,500 children are at a risk of dropping out of school at a sensitive time of national examinations. Over 900,042 children under the age of 5 years are severely affected, as malnutrition levels in some of these counties, such as Marsabit, Turkana, Kajiado, are hit 3 times the global average. Weather experts are already predicting a gloomy outlook of a sixth failed season for March to May 2023. It is against this backdrop that we Kenyans of diverse faith, political persuasions, private and non-state actors hereby launch the Okoa Maisha initiative. Through this initiative, we are mobilizing humanitarian support from Kenyans of goodwill, the private sector, individuals, Kenyans in the diaspora, and humanitarian actors to cushion our severely affected brothers and sisters who are at a dire risk of starvation. The initiative is targeting to reach over 1 million severely affected Kenyans from ASAL counties in the short term and millions more in the long term. We therefore request you to support us with the dry foodstuff, nutritional supplements to malnourished children, money, water, logistic support such as transport, among other emergency needs. A dedicated pay bill number 188688. I repeat again, pay bill number 188668. Account number Okoa Maisha has been set up for the same. Please help us to spread this message as widely as possible. We appreciate the support that we have received so far from the Pastoralist Parliamentary Group, non-profit actors such as Dry Lands Learning and Capacity Building Group, Juhudi Mashinani, and Christ is the Answer Ministry, CITAM. We also appreciate the selflessness of Brother Reuben Kigame, who has agreed to be our ambassador of hope in this initiative. As an initiative, we appreciate the ongoing humanitarian efforts by the government of Kenya, county government, non-state actors, faith-based organizations, private sector players, and other Kenyans of goodwill. We call on the government of Kenya to accelerate emergency interventions to the levels of a national disaster that this crisis is. Thank you. May God bless Kenya. Okoa Maisha Initiative.
Thank you very much. This is Honorable Sarah Correa, the Member of Parliament for Laikipia North Constituency. She's the co-convener of Okoa Maisha initiative. May I request with humility Honorable Brother Reuben Kigame, who is our ambassador of hope. He has graciously come all the way from Eldoret, listening to the cry of Kenyans experiencing this devastating crisis. Let's appreciate Balozi.
Right spot?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
I want to thank every one of you that has come to help us officially launch the Okoa Maisha initiative. When disaster strikes, it does not know whether you are young or old, whether you are a politician or not, whether you are a Muslim, Christian, or Hindu. It does not know whether you are in school or out of school. When disaster strikes, it just strikes. But every time a disaster strikes, it is an opportunity from God for us who are alive to intervene by showing compassion and by sharing the resources that God himself has given to us. Selfishness, avarice, greed, and all manner of don't care attitudes are the wrong way to approach a moment of disaster. It is also not appropriate to start a blame game and begin to check who is not doing what. When we have a crisis, we need all hands on deck. And when we all come together, something happens to alleviate what could have become worse. Throughout history, God has used people to intervene in the lives of others. When there was hunger in Ur of the Chaldees, our great father of faith, Abraham, moved to Egypt and his family in order to find food and care. Indeed, that is how Israel ended up in Egypt. We know that God raised one man in Egypt called Joseph and used him greatly to save the lives of many. We know that there were times in the life of the Prophet Muhammad when he had to flee for different reasons. Sometimes it was insecurity, and other times it was just issues of livelihood. When we lack, God expects us to depend on others for support and intervention. We are here today to launch an initiative from the heart. We are here today to do what we can humanly do in order to alleviate the suffering of so many. It is very easy to complain and say the government is not doing enough. It is possible for us to say, since the government is doing something, let the government do it and we will not care. Sometimes we will even criticize the government for what it has not done. But I believe in moments of crisis, we need to come together as government, as non-governmental organizations, as the private sector, as faith-based communities, to put our hands on deck and bring the suffering of many to a minimum or fully eradicated. And so I stand here today to use my voice, to use my music, to use my connections, to use everything I have in me to tell the world that we have a crisis. And I want you to join me in amplifying that voice and tell your family members and tell your colleagues at work and tell everyone that you are connected with. Tell your friends and family in the diaspora that we have a crisis and we need help. And the help begins now. If we wait another day, it may be too late for a child, for a woman, for a mzee out there in the asile areas. And so, as we launch officially, I would like you to make a special contribution to this cause. If God has blessed you with a phone, and you have M-Pesa or Airtel Money or whatever form of transaction financing you have, I would like you today to make a donation to that pay bill number that has been given, 188668. I would like you journalists to make a contribution. I would like you faith-based people to make a contribution. I would like members of parliament to make a contribution. I would like CSs to make a contribution. I would like PSs just appointed to make a contribution. I would like every citizen to sacrifice a meal, to sacrifice something. 50 bob, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, more, as the Lord has blessed you. I want to challenge media houses to come together and make collections. I want to challenge every possible embassy and high commission to lend a hand. And I would like to ask every possible human person of goodwill to step out and push this hunger back. In the next 6 months, we hope to do nothing but ensure that people have food, and water. After that, from April next year, our concentration will be how do we prevent this situation from happening again. And so we will embark on ensuring that those communities have water, on ensuring that those communities have opportunities for value addition for their livestock and other amenities. And we are going to ensure that children continue to go to school. That is the little we can do. Mobilize. What you can do is participate. And so, with those many words, I would like to request you to say with me, Okoa Maisha.
Okoa Maisha.
Okoa Maisha.
Okoa Maisha.
Okoa Maisha.
Okoa Maisha.
God bless you and God bless Kenya.
To launch. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate our ambassador of hope, Honorable Ruben Kigame. Let's appreciate Honorable Bishop. So we now come to the very climax of this event, and I'll be requesting our leaders to move behind with profound humility so that we can actually hold this number this should be the trending number in this country. If you have a social media platform, let people know. So we are actually going to move behind, and this number will be held, and the media will take close-up shots. The media will take close-up shots of this number. Huh? Whichever platform you have. Thank you. These are whichever platform you have, whichever WhatsApp status, whichever Twitter handle you have, Instagram, please help us push this number to the largest constituency, to the highest number of eyeballs you can actually imagine. We hope that you'll also be converted right from here so that we contribute towards this number and reach Kenyans who are in dire need of food, complementing the ongoing, of course, government efforts and humanitarian organizations' effort. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate. Okoa Maisha is very much officially launched. May I request our leaders to please sit so that we can actually have plenary or a question and answer from the media. Any question to the members of Okoa Maisha initiative?
No, I'm okay. Just you can stop here.
Okay. Is there any question to media or any other leader who wants to buttress anything? Thank you. There's a question.
Good morning. My question was about food conservation. You have had a 5-year program of grain consistency. Now, what are the measures we are going to take about food conservation to this country?
We take about 5 questions, then we answer, and then we take the next roll of questions. Thank you.
My question would be, so far we know people are already contributing, but I think the major challenge is that in as much as people contribute, food sometimes doesn't get to the board because of maybe corruption and other issues. So what are you going to do to ensure that the food that you actually collected gets to the population? What measures will you take?
Thank you. Next question. Thank you.
Your contributions just know there are some people who want to get safe with everything. How can they go about it? What steps can they use?
Thank you very much. We can take those questions first. So I will request Honorable Wario Guyo to explain how do we ensure that the food reaches to people who really deserve. What measures are being taken by this very wonderful initiative?
As you heard from us.
Oh, okay, you can come here.
Okay. Sorry. As we've clearly said in our presentation, this forum comprises of a Pastoralist Parliamentary Group, whose representative, you already see them here. Juhudi Mashinani, which is also an indigenous organization on the ground. We have Sitam, which is also a church organization. We also have DLCI, which is also an institution in the Asals. So basically, we brought our heads together so that we're able to see how best we can really collect the support from Kenyans, and also how this food and other resources will be contributed by Kenyans can reach the local communities. We have the infrastructure. We have, we are devolved all the way to the grassroots in all the counties. We'll be working with the county steering groups. We are not working in isolation. We are not working alone. We are working with the UN agencies. We are working with the local organizations on the ground to ensure that this food really reaches the neediest people on the ground. Because we've seen so many donations have been in this country. Unfortunately, it doesn't reach the local people. That is why, as leaders here, as members of parliament, we are working with also the county commissioners, with the local chiefs, so that they identify the neediest of the people in those localities, so that food really reaches to the people who really need this food. So basically, the infrastructure has really been very elaborate, all the way to the grassroots. That's why MPs are already taking leadership on this.
Thank you very much. The next question was actually on what sort of contributions are we looking forward to over and above money. And may I request Professor Jaldesa to help us understand what else can we contribute apart from money? What sort of help is needed? May I request as he comes that I appreciate Honorable Yusuf Mohammed, who is here with us and is just next to me. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate him.
Good morning. I think one thing which is clear, we had approached Honorable Ruben Kigame to take leadership in this. Whatever we are going to get, he's the one mobilizing for the collection, and we had formed a secretariat under his leadership who will be in charge of the distribution of whatever resources we are going to collect. So if you trust Ruben, then you trust his secretariat. For the collection, that's it. For the food stuff and other product, if it's money, yes, it comes directly to this. If it's foodstuffs, people in different locations. What we had initially in partnership was Sitam missions. Sitam missions are also mobilizing the collection of foodstuffs wherever they are from their neighborhood. Once we have had enough, we know how to transport it to the nearest station or location which requires the food. All that we are saying, yes, we are looking for support to save lives. And there's no contribution that you make that is too little to save a life. I think the message is, within our network, but Sitam Missionaries is the lead in this because they have already been working in those areas. But other organizations that has been mentioned will also play a role in the distribution of those foodstuffs. So depending on where we are, depending on where the Sitam missions are, and the other partnering agencies And of course, the secretariat will be able to make sure that the food gets to the needy. We want to make sure with Reuben, we shall make sure that there's no theft, there's no act of corruption. It will be clear that it is fairly and transparent and reaches the people wherever they are without any discrimination. If they are from Kajiado and people there are needy, we shall reach them. If they are from Turkana, Kacheliba, we shall reach them. If they are from Northeastern, Wajir, Garissa, we shall reach them. That is the message I think I have. Anywhere in this country where there are people who are suffering from hunger, we want to reach them. There's a question which was asked about mitigation measures to make sure that there will be no food scarcity. I don't want to go into that one. What we are going for now, we are pleading for food support, either in dry food or financial. What we shall do, let's cross over. When we cross this bridge is when we shall be able to talk about how do we ensure that this circle of hunger, drought, and whatever does not repeat again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So by and large, we are all capable to give in any way that you can actually give. Probably you have a transport company and you can help us transport this food. As we speak, there's a Kenyan of goodwill who's offered some trucks. When we get food, we'll take the food up the north. That's transport. Whether you have a social media platform where you can actually post our number, that is support in kind that will be helping us amplify this message. Where you have support in what is called nutritional supplements for children, this is support that can actually reach the malnourished children. Whether you have support in terms of water, and we can have some trucks that can actually ensure that water reaches the most marginalized persons. Cash in kind and cash will help a lot to save our Kenyans. So all manner of support, whether you're a media house and you may actually offer to give us visibility to help amplify this message, that is cash in kind. So any innovative way, whether it's a young person who probably thinks of an app that we can develop to make sure that we rethink some of those questions you're asking, we are all capable to give. I think this is very important. And part of what I'm actually hoping, even here, is that we make an impassioned altar call strong enough to really ensure that we give. Who has a phone right now? Let me start with the converted here. Who has a phone? And we test this number. Who has a phone and may want to give? Okay. Let's give. I want to make sure that this movement is actually starting from here. And we want to believe that you're actually converted. So whether it's 10 bob, 50, 100, we want to test this number. Okay, let's start. Go to your M-Pesa. Yes. Okay. I am told there are more media houses that have come. Thank you very much. And with this, I would like to request our brand ambassador, Honorable Reuben Kigame, to repeat his appeal while holding the number 188668, so that more media houses can actually capture this.
Thank you very much for coming. We are gathered here today to officially launch the Okoa Maisha initiative. This is an initiative between parliamentarians from the pastoral communities and other ASAL areas, faith-based communities, and institutions. Sorry. I'll give them a moment. Microphone here is- Sorry. We really appreciate you, so I'll repeat. We are gathered here today to officially launch the Okoa Maisha initiative. This is an intervention initiative that brings together parliamentarians from the ASIL areas and the pastoral communities, as well as other affected populations in our country, faith-based groups, the private sector, and NGO organizations that are committed to humanitarian intervention in our country. We are here not in competition with the government. We are here to complement what the government is doing to alleviate the suffering of nearly 5 million Kenyans. Our approach is really from the heart. When suffering strikes, when disaster occurs, it does not choose whether you are young or old, male or female, Muslim, Christian or Hindu. It does not choose whether you are a journalist, a politician, a student. And so everyone in these regions is affected. There are children that may not sit their class 3, 6, 8, or Form 4 exams because of the conditions up there. There are parents that cannot wake up every morning because they are too emaciated. There are youth that can no longer do anything, not even look after livestock. And I'm told that the communities have lost more than 50% of their livelihoods in livestock. I want to thank the media for beaming the pictures and showing the country exactly the situation that is on the ground. They have played their part. It is now our turn to step out and intervene. You can sit there and say the failure of government, the failure of the communities, the failure of members of parliament, the failures of NGOs, and start the blame game. That will not help alleviate the humanitarian crisis we have. I want to appeal to every one of you today to remember that this could affect you or affect your children, and we will still need to intervene. So if you have anything, whether it's just 50 shillings, 100 shillings, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, whatever God has blessed you with, we have set up a special number to which you can contribute. We have a pay bill number 188668. Shall I? This is the pay bill number 188668. Go to your phone number, Lipa na M-Pesa, choose the pay bill option, and when asked for business number, enter this one, 188668. And then when asked for account, enter the words Okoa Maisha. At least remind yourself, it's Okoa Maisha, save a life. And once you've done that, you would have contributed to giving a meal to somebody who has not had food for several days. For the next 6 months, we want to concentrate on intervention. We want to save lives. We want to ensure that children continue with a meal at school. For the next 6 months, we want to be sure that nobody suffers anymore. Because when God blesses us, it is our responsibility to also reach out. And so I'm asking you to Talk to your family. Talk to your fellow employees. Talk to your business partners. Talk to your fellow church members or mosque members or temple members. Talk to them. Talk to anybody. Talk to your friends in the diaspora. Talk to government. Talk to anyone. And let us all bring our efforts together. Bring the maize. Bring the beans. Bring the rice. Bring the sugar or cooking flour. Bring some money so we can approach companies that manufacture fortified foods. Let us all intervene, because when one suffers, all suffer. Ninawasihi wa Kenya, tuungane pamoja tuweze kuokoa maisha. Leo ni wao, kesho inaweza kuwa ni sisi. Najua uchumi ni mgumu, najua kwamba kila mtu anaumia, anafinywa, ila tusiwe watu wa kujitazama sisi tu. Tuwatazame na ndugu na dada zetu na watoto na wazee wetu ambao wanaumia. Naomba kwamba kila mtu atoe kitu, na atoe kwa roho. Kama unaweza kuavoid lunch ama breakfast na kuokoa hiyo hela na kuweza kuweka kwenye pay bill number, tutaweza kuokoa maisha. Baadaye tutashughulika na jinsi ambavyo wanaweza kupata msaada wa kudumu. Ila kwa sasa tunaomba kwamba kila mmoja afanye kitu. Na mwisho nikimaliza, nasema kwamba ikiwezekana, serikali yetu naomba kwamba itangaze janga hili kwa mara tena kuwa janga la kitaifa. We want our government to declare this one more time a national disaster. The current government needs to do that, so that we can all combine efforts and rescue lives. Kama itawezekana, kuna Wakenya ambao wana very big pieces of land, homes and so on. Kama unaweza kuhost hata family kidogo kwa muda, naomba uchukue muda ama uongee na wabunge na chiefs na county governments za huko. Maybe unaweza kuhost family kwa muda kidogo. Mimi mwenyewe nitafanya juu chini mpaka nichukue at least jamii ama watoto kutoka kule ambao wanaumia, nikae nao, niwalishe. Nafikiri that is the way to do. If every one of us did something, we will alleviate. Just use the power and the resources you have. God bless you, and God bless Kenya.
Thank you very much. We're coming close to this. Unless there's any other question that can be asked that is urgent, we actually want to close this now. Is there any other question? We have press statements actually that will be issued by Madam Chebet Biril, seated somewhere outside. You'll actually access the copy of the press statement. I request that when you tweet, put hashtag Okoa Maisha in your own platforms. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate our leaders. We appreciate you for coming and the stories that you're telling. We appreciate our leaders. Thank you very much. Okoa Maisha.